Because people living in equatorial Africa are living in a hot environment, the skin must have been able to sweat very efficiently so that people could keep cool. And also because that skin was naked and therefore was prone to damage from ultraviolet radiation. And so the skin of our ancestors was dark, full of the natural sunscreen, melanin.
People ask us, why are we so angry about this thing? Why are we so worked up about it? What does it matter? It happened thousands of years ago. Why does it matter? And the question arises, why does it matter to them? Because at UNESCO, when Diop went further, and he went between the derm and the epiderm, and he established through the melanin dosage test that the level of melanin, the density of melanin in the skin of the mummies was so great that it could not be leucoderm with melanoderm types, no caucasoids. And then Abdullah, the Egyptian delegate, Abdullah, the Egyptian delegate, jumped up and said, even if they're black-skinned, they're white. They're just darkened by the sun. It's very hot out there, by the way.
In the beginning, for well over 1 million years before the Common Era, the only people on Earth were Africans. At some point over the subsequent thousands of years, Africans built highly sophisticated civilizations around the world. By about 20,000 years before the Common Era, the European race first appeared on the global scene, well after the African races established these global civilizations. This is where this story begins. While the European caveman was still in his infancy, the black African civilizations of Egypt and Nubia that was by then thousands of years old and wise continued to flourish.
You have spent much of your life studying the history of the ancient Egyptians. Who were the ancient Egyptians? How did they look?
Voilà, les Égyptiens anciens ressemblaient à cette terre que vous voyez. Voici le premier roi de la terre.
Here you have the first king of the earth, the very first. And the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, looked like this man.
Cet homme a des traits, si vous voulez, plus, comme nous disons, vous m'aviez dit tout à l'heure de ne pas employer un terme, mais sur le plan scientifique, c'est un terme consacré. En tout cas, il a des traits de la race noire plus marqués que celles de presque tous ceux qui sont ici dans cette salle.
You can see that he has those traits that are associated with the black, those features associated with the black race, which are even more pronounced than many of the people here. It was this man who unified the Nile Valley from Upper to Lower Egypt, and this was 3,300 years before Jesus Christ.
Yes. Je passe donc, ce que je vais dire avant de passer au suivant, c'est que vous allez le voir donc, déjà d'après ses traits, et les traits aussi des pharaons qui vont suivre.
You can see by his features and those of the pharaohs and kings that will follow it,
que les anciens Égyptiens n'étaient pas des blancs qui seraient devenus progressivement noirs et en perdant leurs traits.
You can see that they were not a people that were started as whites and became progressively more black.
Mais qu'au départ, c'était des noirs authentiques qui, à la basse époque, vont se métisser avec des blancs.
They were instead a black people, an authentic black people, but which never ceased to be blacks.
Donc, attendez, je dis en un mot. Donc, vous voyez que les anciens Égyptiens étaient des noirs comme tous les autres naturels de l'Afrique, c'est tout.
You can see that the first the Egyptians were black men, like black men that you see in Africa now.
Ici, cette reproduction est importante.
This is a very important reproduction.
C'est dans le tombeau de Ramsès III.
This is found in the tomb of Ramses III,
20e dynastie.
the 20th dynasty.
Vous avez le personnage de gauche.
The person on the left,
c'est le type général, donc, représenté par l'artiste égyptien lui-même.
this is the general type represented by the Egyptian artist himself.
Le second, c'est le type général de tous les Européens, si vous voulez, de tous les Occidentaux.
And the second person or personage is the general type of all the Europeans
Yes.
represented by the artist.
Le troisième, c'est le type général de tous les autres Noirs de l'intérieur du continent.
And the third personage is the general type representing all the other groups found in the interior of the continent.
Of Africa.
Of the continent of Africa.
Oui. Le quatrième, c'est le type général de tous les Sémites habitant l'Asie.
The fourth personage is the general type of all of the Semites living in that area of Asia.
Et ceci est un tableau ethnographique. Voilà les races qui existaient à l'époque, telles que les Égyptiens les ont connues, vues et représentées.
This is
De différentes races.
the different races represented by the artist, and these are the races that existed in his time as he saw them.
Nous sommes à 1200 avant Jésus-Christ.
We are 1,200 years before Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Donc, vous voyez que les Égyptiens ne se sont jamais confondus avec les Européens.
So
ni,
the Egyptians were never confused with the Europeans,
ni avec les Sémites,
nor with the Semites,
et qu'ils ne se sont jamais différenciés sur le plan de la couleur, n'est-ce pas, sur le plan ethnique des Africains.
and they never became different from on an ethnic plane from the other Africans.
Regardez, ces reproductions sont assez significatives à ce point de vue.
So this is fairly significant from this point of view.
Or, cette image, c'est la première fois, depuis que Lepsius, c'est un relevé d'un savant allemand qui s'appelle Lepsius.
This was discovered by a German scientist who is called Lepsius.
Et vous ne l'avez jamais vu reproduit dans un autre ouvrage avant cette projection.
And before this, you have not seen this reproduced in any other form
Dans
or
un
work,
livre.
or any other work.
Vous voyez donc, c'est de cette manière que la science, n'est-ce pas, s'est écartée petit à petit de la réalité et de la vérité historique en ce qui concerne l'Égypte.
And so you can see how history departed little by little from the reality.
How did ancient writers describe the ancient Egyptians?
Tous les écrivains grecs et même romains de l'Antiquité ont déposé dans le même sens pour nous affirmer que les anciens Égyptiens de leur époque, pourtant qui étaient déjà très métissés, étaient des Noirs.
All of the writers of ancient Greek and ancient Rome agreed that the Egyptians of their epoch, of their time, were in fact black.
Or, cette Égypte-là, c'est l'Égypte de la fin, donc de la fin donc de l'histoire égyptienne.
But these were the Egyptians of the end of the great Egyptian civilization.
Et Jésus-Christ, ça fait donc une période de 900 ans.
For a period of some 900 years, beginning at the 4th century before Jesus Christ and going through the 5th century after, the Greeks were constantly witnessing to the fact that the Egyptians were black.
Donc, les Égyptiens sont considérés comme des Noirs depuis l'origine jusqu'à la fin de leur histoire.
So they would be considered black from their origins, from their beginnings, all the way to the end of their civilization, as is indicated by the first king, the slide which we saw.